Monday, October 6th at 6 o'clock p.m. We're in central office with some staff remote. So I'm calling a curriculum committee meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Sorry. So in person is Andrea Ackerman, Dr. Andrea Ackerman, and myself, Adrian Johnson, and Mike Whitney is the other board member online. And then let's see if I can read that from here. We also have Chris Morth, Anne Marie Mancini, Amy McKenna. I can't read the other names, so we'll start out there. So, first order of business is to review the September 18th meeting minutes. So, Mike and Andrea, have you looked at them, or do we have any comments, corrections?
No comments, no corrections.
No comments.
All right. So, Mike, am I allowed to just approve these without objection, or can we? Are we supposed to move to vote? You know?
I guess we can do it without a vote. Some people like to vote, but it seems like we don't have to.
All right. All right. So, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. So approved. All right. Next order of business is some new course proposals. And the first one is music and movies, which I see Andrea Shabazian and who's presenting on this one?
Today, Karna Hawkins is going to be presenting this course for Andrea. She has although Andrea has presented, I have some Google Slides. Although she put together a proposal, but she's also put together some Google Slides because she can't be present tonight.
All right.
So
I do have it's Karna. I do have the slides. I'm trying to see how the slideshow she put together is great. So I think you all have access to it, so you can read it more in detail. But she did a nice job explaining the course in there. And I'm going to try to see if I can show this to you. It's been a while since my COVID days of teaching online, so I'm not sure if I can share my screen. Well, I know I can share my screen. Here we go. I think I got it. Sorry. Chrome tabs, of course. All right. I believe you can see this. Can we? I don't know.
Yes.
we can see it.
That corner. Yeah. You can see it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So the course is basically meant for our population who really has no interest in singing, performing, instruments, any of that, but really love music and the production of music and how it all comes together. Maybe they just like creating beats or something. So this course was created to fill that gap. And it's something that Andrea has taught before. Not at our district, but she has taught it before, so she does have things ready to go if it gets approved. And there are 2 courses here. Let me see if I can just... Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's better.
So it is a 0.5 half credit course, and it goes to our fine arts credit. Basically, it's more technology focused, and
Amy, can you enlarge that? It's Andrea. I can't see it.
Your share screen. Can you see that? I don't know it's hard for me to know what you guys can see on your end.
I can't read a thing, but that could be me.
Yeah, no, it is hard to read, even for me on the screen. It is all in, I think she did share it with you, but essentially she's filling the gap that, again, through movies, TV shows, music, and gaming.
It's just the two of you. I can spin this table.
Yeah, all right, can we just take a break for 2 minutes?
Sure.
So we can see the screen. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And I'll just mention, I didn't get that slideshow, so unless I missed an email.
I think it came later today.
The slideshow really was meant to kind of supplement the proposal that was put together. Andrea unfortunately couldn't be here at the last minute, so she put together this slideshow. It really mirrors what was in the proposal.
Good, thank you.
It was meant to kind of help Karna as she presented instead of Andrea.
Yes, and it was very helpful to me when I looked at her earlier.
I just checked my email. I don't think I got anything, unless it went somewhere weird.
You didn't get the proposals that came out about a week ago. Erica sent out the agenda with proposals attached.
I have that, just not the slideshow. That was sent out today.
The slideshow was just, I'm sorry, it was just sent to Karna and myself in preparation for today's meeting because Andrea was not available at the last minute.
Okay, so we don't have it, right?
No, we'll make sure we'll make sure you get it.
Thanks.
All right.
Yep. So I don't know if you want me to go back a slide, but are you able to see something?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
we can see it now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So it's a half-year course, 0.5. Students do not need any prior music experience. It would be accessible to all student levels, and it's an alternative pathway for non-performing students. Like I said before, a lot of kids are interested in music, but they have no desire to sing in front of people or play an instrument, but they still love music, and this would be a class where they could really thrive and learn kind of the technology behind it as well. And also the big push too is listening skills through this class, critical listening skills, analyzing the different music through, the movies and through gaming, which we know many of our kids are interested in. And then they also get more of a hands-on experience where they get to create some music and beats and things as well. So essentially it's aligning with our philosophy. It's consistent with the interest and, our demographic. Definitely think it would, our student engagement for this class, I think a lot of kids have asked for something similar to this and would love to see it on our course catalog. Let's see, as far as any financial impact, it would be creating the curriculum in the summer. The students, they already have software apparently down in the middle school that they use. It's a subscription to, I think it's Soundtrap, that's what it is. It's a Soundtrap that they use. So I think it would probably be about $10 per student. So maybe she estimated around $200 to add on to that subscription to the Soundtrap that the middle school already has. Let's see. She also, trying to find it in here. These are just some sample units, which you can look through once we email that to you. And certainly things that she would put more formally in the curriculum. But you can see that she definitely has ideas already, and she's taught it before. And it falls in our entertainment technology pathway. So, I think it would give kids a nice alternative class. She also compared it to a couple of classes, I'm trying to find that we already have at the school. I thought I saw that slide earlier. But there is an English class elective, and Amy, you might be able to speak to that more than me, but she did lay out the differences between what she's offering and what those already offer. Yeah, so
I think the two courses with those overlaps are gaming narratives, which is an immensely popular course, always heavily enrolled, and also our film study course, and that has been an elective sort of staple in the English department, I think, for probably well over 20 years.
oh wow.
And what Ms. Shabazian did was she kind of looked at what each of those courses was already doing and made an interdisciplinary connection without making it repetitive, because one of the things that she was thinking is that, eventually these courses could become another pathway. So she wanted to make sure that she was connecting without repeating too much. Yeah, this is the slide, Ms. Hopkins.
Does anybody have any questions that I can attempt to answer?
Mike or Andrea? I just have one. If we go back, how much time will it take to write the curriculum? Do we know or have an estimate on that?
I would say maybe 5 to 10. I don't know. After doing some curriculum this summer, I could definitely help her to wrap her head around it quicker. I would say anywhere from 5 to 10 hours.
All right. Anne Marie, did you have your?
Yeah, so I have a standard formula that I apply for all courses. If it's a new course, there's a certain amount of hours that are applied. If it's a new course, that's a half-year course. Again, there's a certain amount of hours that are applied, and that's just standardized. It makes sure that there's consistency and fairness for each of the courses, regardless if it's a half-year course, a full-year course. And then that makes, again, so that, you don't have one person saying, well, it took me 10 hours to write the course, like a half-year course, and somebody else say, well, it needs 20. So off the top of my head, I don't remember what those numbers are, or those, that those figures are, but that's applied universally, across the board for regardless if it's an elementary school curriculum or a high school curriculum.
All right, so we're just basically paying, as far as the board would see, it's just going to be a flat fee for a curriculum. It's, $2,000 for half credit and $4,000 for a full credit or something like that. I shouldn't throw numbers out, but
it's not necessarily like a flat fee. Some of it is based on, you always want to make sure that you have at least 2 members, but sometimes a course requires 3, so that might be a little bit more, depending on the members of the writing committee. And then again, sometimes the committee will come back and say, well, we needed 2 more hours. So there's a little variance here and there, but sometimes the committee comes back and says we needed fewer. That doesn't happen as often, but there's a little variance.
all right. So another question I had is: Are we thinking that this is going to pull student populations off of anything else, or are there any other courses that might not run? If we start running this.
In my opinion, I don't believe so. I feel like there's a lot of, I think it would just allow kids to get something that they really want versus something that they're kind of interested in, but not really. So I think it would kind of allow kids to kind of fall in the proper places.
All right. All right, are
And
there,
as far as music goes too, we don't really have anything that's necessarily like introductory. Like we do have some theory classes, but those are a little more higher level. But this is something that would, a lot of kids at any level could take, and just without any prior experience.
yeah,
Amy, I'm looking at the line that says that it builds character development through actions and behavioral analysis. What does that mean?
Okay.
That I think is the music and movies. That's not this course. That's the English course.
Yeah, that's the gaming.
Oh.
That's the gaming course.
oh, I was under the impression that that was part of that there was just a section of this course that talked about gaming. Is that not correct?
They do gaming, but it's this slide here was just a comparison of what already exists
Oh,
to
all right,
show
all
that
right.
to show that there's just a connection and not an overlap. We're not duplicating a course where our course is that Andrea's proposing is different. It's something different, and I don't know why I can't move the slides. Oh, there I am. This is the slide that shows more of what this class is.
All right, yeah, that's, all right, so it's just that the section I was thinking of, it says video game music, so maybe that's just a, not quite as much into a game.
Yeah, so this is more technology focused, as well as active listening and analysis
All
to
right,
what they're listening to, whether it's in gaming videos or whether it's the movie or a TV show. So that's essentially, where they're getting their content, and what they're building content for is essentially like a video game, or if they're building content or, a film or TV show.
all right. Anne Marie, did you have something to?
Yes, I'd like to add on to something, you asked a question just a minute ago about pulling away from other arts courses. I just want to kind of make a note, and I think someone mentioned this before, but I have to make a second point too. Students have to take 1.0 credits of fine arts, fine and performing arts, for their graduation requirements. So this, could work. It just could be half a credit toward that 1.0. Again, it does kind of appeal to students that are not necessarily a performer of some type. And I think the other thing that's important to note is that on the accountability index, we get a certain number of points each year at the high school level if we have, I believe it's 60% of our students in any given year enrolled in some kind of fine and performing arts course. And so it's always nice to have students that have multiple options so that we can have them enrolled in some type of arts course, regardless of if it's fine, like a fine arts course, a performing arts course, or a course like this. If it's coded as an arts course, that does work in our favor and give us points toward that category or that indicator on the accountability index.
All
And
right.
that's not why we're proposing this course, but I just wanted to make that note.
Yeah, that's certainly something we're thinking about. I appreciate that. Yeah, Mike?
Thank you. I have a few questions. Actually, I think on the accountability index, we do quite well to Fitch's and Groton Middle School and elementary school credit on that part of the accountability, because access to arts, I think, has been something that Groton has taken seriously for some time, and this would continue it. So I'm broadly supportive of the course. I do still, actually, I didn't follow what you're saying about roughly how much time in terms of development hours would this be? Do you envision? I didn't follow that.
I think as far as hours go, it would be 5 to 10 hours, and like Emery said, she has a formula for that. It's definitely not $2,000 for a person to do that. I wish, but it's definitely it would not take. I personally don't think it's going to be a lot monetarily, and as far as the software goes, since Groton Middle School already has an account, I don't think it's going to be that much more to add it for for the amount of kids that would be using it.
All right. Well, presumably this would have to go before the board to, like, as our curriculum kind of setup is set up right now. I think we'd have to go to the board and get approval probably at the end of the month if we can fit it on that agenda. So maybe if we could have that, that information for that meeting, assuming it gets passed tonight. Yeah, Anne Marie.
So I just looked it up. The typical half-year course like this would receive 18 total hours. It would be either 2 or 3 writers would be approved depending upon, how many people apply, but it's at least 2 that we always ask for, but sometimes there's a third person that applies. And that usually comes to a total of, well, at least this past year, sometimes the rates change. I think it would change for this year. But this past year it was about $720, just under.
All right. All right. Thank you. Mike? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. Actually, I'm wondering if it's possible if we could look at the curriculum form that we got, if we could project that. 'Cause I've got 2 questions on
I can try to do that. Just give me a second to get.
I'll ask a question while we're waiting for this. This is just something I was thinking about, and I don't know that it could even fit into this course, but I was thinking about specifically music and arts in unified classes. Is this the type of course that would work in the unified environment, and is there more need for unified classes in music and arts? Is there?
I would say based on this year, there's a need for some co-taught classes for sure when it comes to the arts. The unified is kind of a separate beast in a way, but I would certainly say based on my classes personally this year and some of my other colleagues in the arts and music that we would definitely benefit from a co-teaching situation, and not necessarily unified, but there's a need for help in that area. So this class would be no different than any other art class where all levels of students would be placed, and it would be our responsibility to modify based on who our students are. And again, we would benefit from more support in that area.
So could you just explain me the difference between, or what would be the difference between having a course that was kind of labeled as a unified course and just a course that was co-taught, which I guess you would do just for more support, I guess, for the students? Is that correct? Or?
Yeah, it would be more support for, I think, the teacher and the students as far as help in modifying what we're already teaching. As far as the unified at this point, it's certainly more of the ABA students. So I feel like now we're at the opposite end when it comes to unified, that we just need it in the regular course. So that teacher, the co-teacher would be in there to essentially take what I'm teaching and help me to modify it, break it down even further for a student who needs it. Because, and usually when there's a co-taught class like that in art, it has been done before. It hasn't been done in probably 12 years. But we did have a couple of co-taught art classes, and that's essentially what the special ed teacher did, was help support the art teacher and with the lessons and, helping those students in the class, because there was quite a few students. in the class, so it's kind of like a unified, but definitely not created that way. I don't know if that makes sense or if I confused you even more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
I
for,
just think we have a high population right now.
yeah,
For
no,
whatever reason.
yeah, I understand that. Or I shouldn't say I really understand that. I appreciate what you're saying. I'm sure it's a whole different thing to be in a
Yeah.
classroom and understand what you're talking about firsthand.
Right.
But I guess that would be another, I mean, you know, the unified classes in general seem like they serve a demand, and if this is kind of a hybrid on the way there, if that's something that that the administration feels that we need, maybe, you know, when we bring this up to the full board, if there's any modifications like that or recommendations, maybe that's something that can be brought up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Mike, you had some questions on this sheet?
Yeah, thank you for projecting it. I think it's maybe the next page. It's with the costs. Yeah, it's right. Oh, it's right below the higher, a little bit more, number 6. So that's where the 50 seats for the soundtrack, I think it is. They're coming up to $500. I think earlier a lower number had been quoted, but maybe that was because of the lower number of students. So I was wondering which was that. I thought I heard 250, and that's about 500. I was wondering which is likely to be more accurate if we know. And then my other question was, does a cost like this come out of the music department's budget, which isn't all that large, or does it come out of some general curriculum budget?
To answer the first question about it is definitely a different figure. And what Andrea was saying today, she was thinking it was more like 200, but then again, I don't know for sure about the 499 there. But maybe that's what that might be what GMS pays already. I don't know. So that one we would have to ask probably Andrea. And as far as the budget, I don't know.
Thank you. Because that'd be my concern that it, you know, I know it's not a huge amount in terms of our total education budget, but, you know, $500 to teach a class, an elective class might, and it's particularly if it takes out of a reasonably small budget, I'd be concerned about that. But I don't need the answer for that today. And then right below it has the proposed units covered in the course. I think there are like 7 or 8 of them. And I was looking through this and I thought, well, you know, the title of the course is Music and Movies, but the first one is Foley, which I had to look up. That meant sound effects. So that's not exclusively movies, or not exclusively music, rather. And then I think lower down, and it was in the slides too, talking about the video gaming aspect of it. I can see where that would really capture students' interest, but it's not movies. So at first I came into here thinking, well, suggesting narrowing the scope of this unit before the course is written, so it's all music in movies, not sound effects in movies and not music in video games. But maybe consider broadening the name of the course a bit. And because I think a good element of this is it's sort of a media creation, right? And so maybe it's music and digital media or something like that would be helpful. But what I'm saying is there's a mismatch between the title and the main, I guess, units that are in the course, in my view.
Yes, we can definitely work on that for sure. I can see that being coming up with a better name for sure.
But, and just to round it out, I definitely understand how there's a broad interest in music, even if you don't particularly want to be performing music.
All right. I guess I have one more question. Staffing, are we so we'd be adding a class. Do we have any, are we going to have any additional staffing needs, or do we have kind of space in the staffing that we have to run this?
I don't anticipate that we would have any stretch for staffing if we were to offer this course as a .5 elective. Even if it was offered both semesters, we can definitely cover that with current staffing.
All right. All right, any other questions? No? All right, so I guess we would need to make a motion to approve this as a subcommittee to send it to the full board for as soon as we can get on the agenda for a monthly meeting. So does anyone want to make that motion?
No.
I'll move that.
All right, so moved by Mike. I will second it. All right, so all in favor? I'm in
Aye.
favor. Opposed?
Opposed?
All right, and no abstentions. So, so that will pass.
We didn't
So-
have any discussion.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, discussion, sorry. We'll go back to discussion. Sorry, I messed up the, so we can re-vote if anybody has to, but yeah, we'll go back
I'm
to.
not changing my vote, so, however, I would very much like to see the, in person, the individual whose name I'm missing, I think is Andrea. Is it?
Yeah, Andrea Shabazian.
I should know that. I would like that. I would like to know more about this. There's so much about this I just don't get, as it were. And I thought I was going to jump right on this, but I have too many questions, and I don't think they're going to be answered tonight. So I would like very much for her to come and speak with us, but that's probably not going to
All
happen.
right, well, we can, assuming I'm not going to, I'll keep my vote as approving it. If Mike is the same, we'll see if she can be there, because we're going to review it again as the board before it actually gets approved to write the curriculum.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and just to add to this discussion, I will keep my vote as well as it was. But Andrew, if you may be able to email your comments, questions to us, and then, because I think the questions you have would come up with the broader board, and it might smooth its path along if they knew ahead of time what was coming.
yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
all right. All right, the next item on the agenda is another new course proposal. This one is Personal and Professional Skills, which is an IB class. So who will be talking about this one?
That will be me.
All right, hi, Chris.
So, I'm sorry I don't have I know we're making slideshows tonight, so I don't have anything fun to show anybody. It's not quite a new course because we already have personal and professional skills at the high school. It's a reimagining and expansion of the existing course. It was, so the personal and professional skills course is part of the IB career-related program, which I did a little digging into our history of this. This was apparently approved for the high school. We got approved for this 7 or 8 pre-COVID, and then COVID hit, and then nothing happened. It just kind of withered and died on the vine. So the course has been kind of run once, only for a half credit. There was only 2 students involved, and then it just all kind of went away. I learned about the IB career-related program at a training about 1.5 years ago, and I was sitting there in the workshop like, why are we not doing this? Like, we have to, like, this really, like, it really spoke to me in terms of our population at Fitch High School. So I started last year really recruiting, going out and talking to kids about both the diploma program and the career-related program, and drummed up a bunch of interest. So we have 13 kids in the program who are entering the program this year as juniors. 2 other kids who really wanted to do it, but because they're in the naval science program, they can't be, there's a scheduling conflict there. So they're still doing elements of the career-related program, even if they're not formally enrolled in the personal and professional skills course. So what we're proposing is take the personal and professional skills right now is a 1-credit course. It's second semester junior year, first semester senior year. What we're proposing to do is make it a 3-semester course, similar to how Theory of Knowledge functions for the IB diploma program. The Theory of Knowledge course itself only needs to be 1 year, but we've expanded it and added that extra semester to cover the extended essay, the CAS project, and a lot of the other elements of the diploma program. We would like to do the same thing with personal and professional skills. IB only requires it to be a 1-credit class, half a semester junior year, half a semester senior year. But we want to add that extra semester because there are other elements of the IB career-related program that, frankly, we haven't done them in the past. There's the reflective project, community engagement, and language and cultural studies. So the idea would be that this expanded personal and professional skills class would cover all 4 of those elements: the PPS class, community engagement, language and cultural studies, and the reflective project. So that's what we're hoping to have happen.
So are we going to be losing or discontinuing any classes then? Like the language and...
We'd be adding a semester onto the existing class. And the curriculum itself, it was written a long time ago. The IB changed its curriculum in 2024 into 2025. So the curriculum would need to be rewritten regardless of whether it gets expanded or not. But expanding it adds these other 3 elements.
All right. All right, is that, so I'd be curious to see what the curriculum was to start. And I don't know if we have access to that, but we didn't get a copy of that. If you could send us the personal and professional skills curriculum to start, so we can kind of understand a little bit of where we're starting and where we're going. So is that portion of it going to be significantly changed of the curriculum?
Yes. So like I said, the course was taught for 1 semester to 2 kids a couple years ago. The curriculum was from, I think, 2018 or 2019 is when they wrote into school. I went to a workshop this past summer, and I've never taught the class before, but at the workshop they said that it's basically a whole new course. It's a complete reimagining because the career-related program is the newest aspect of IB. We were one of the first schools in the country authorized for it in 2018, even though nothing happened with it. So I think they took a lot of that feedback from that first 7 years of running the program and really changed around what they wanted from the curriculum for the class.
All right. Well, I might be interested in just kind of maybe just calling this a new course. I mean, I don't know if there's, rather than calling it a modification, if we don't have, if that's kind of just going away, maybe we should just call it a new course. But at the same time, tell the board that we are discontinuing this course, so the other one just gets taken off the books as far as an option.
Yeah, because it is going to be drastically different than what it's replacing, even if the name is staying the same.
Yeah. All right. Mike?
Yeah, my first question is this a required course for IB, or I guess it's not?
Well, for the students doing the career-related program, so in the 7 years we've had the career-related program, we've had 1 girl who did it, Abby Malone, who graduated last year. There was a great article about her in the Day paper about wanting to be an Imagineer. She did Project Lead the Way. She is the only person who's done the program, but like I said, this year I have 13 juniors in the program, and I'm hoping to grow that number next year now that the word has started to get out. So It went from one girl who was in Project Lead the Way. Now we have kids in the nursing program, our Ed Rising program. And like I said, there's 2 other kids who are doing naval science right now who really want to do it, but because of scheduling conflicts, couldn't make it into the our current version of the PPS class.
Thanks. My other question is, so there wasn't a lot of information in the form we got. So I went to the program of studies for Fitch 25, 26, and it already has personal and professional skills 1 and 2, and the junior year is 1 credit, and then the senior year is a half credit. Seems like it's already been transitioned.
So I noticed that the other day too. That's not how I'm not sure. It is a mystery. I don't know if Amy McKenna knows, but the one time it was run as a half a credit junior year, half a credit senior year. I'm not sure what happened with the program of studies.
Yeah, I can't speak to that change, as I'm unfamiliar with that change as well. I think that's definitely something that we need to research how that came about to be listed like that.
So, and then my other question was the 42 hours of course development. Maybe that's roughly following that 18 times 3 because it's 1.5 credits. I just wanted some thought on that. It seems like it is a time-intensive task, right? Not questioning that.
That's exactly that. It's the 18 times 3.
All right. So I guess the question I have with the career-related program, in 13 students in it, how many career-related program classes are there? I mean, I guess where I'm going is how many kids are in these classes, or students, I should say.
So our nursing, what do you mean, like in terms of like the nursing classes and Ed Rising classes, or?
Well, you said the IB career-related classes. So you said we had 13 students signed up for the IB career pathways program.
So our career-related program draws from kids who are doing our nursing program, the Ed Rising program. Naval science is eligible, but again, scheduling conflicts, and then Project Lead the Way, engineering is also eligible. We're looking at adding a culinary one in the future. So for kids who are in the career-related program, they take courses. They take 1 course their junior, at least 1 course their junior, 1 course their senior in their career-related studies. So they take diversified health occupations and then nursing. They take Ed Rising 1 and then Ed Rising 2, or a unified class, something like that. They do 2 IB diploma classes of their choice, and then they take this personal and professional skills course. So these 13 kids right now are scheduled to be in our current version of the personal and professional skills course, 2nd semester senior year. There's also, I think, 2 or 3 other kids enrolled in the class who are not part of the full program. So there's 15 or 16 kids filling seats in our current version of the class.
All right. So do we have any, how many students do we expect to have in this class? And then separately, is there a minimum number when we wouldn't run it?
Well, so when there was 2, it was run and then was decided not to be run the second year. Right now, so the 13 to 15 that we have right now is just from kind of me beating the drum on this. I would expect from the training I've been told that once the career-related program gets going, it tends to overtake the diploma program in terms of popularity, because especially we have a lot of kids who are interested in nursing. We're working. They're building out our relationships with EB. If a lot of these other things get in place, and as more teachers, more kids get involved, I would hope that the momentum will pick up. So there's going to be 13, 15 kids in the class this year. I would hope to drastically increase that going forward.
All right. Mike?
partially answered it, because I was going to ask, going from 1 credit to 1.5 credits, is that do you perceive that as a barrier, a significant barrier for people to want to do the career pathways? But maybe you're saying they want to do the career pathways more than they might want to do the diploma.
It was one of the concerns. I had a meeting with Matt Brown, Kathy Wilson, Susan Austin, and Lori Lapine a few weeks ago about this, because we were offering the personal and professional skills course, but we weren't providing any support for our kids for these other components that are required, the language and cultural studies, the community engagement, the reflective project. And so I was presenting them different options about how we could do this, and most of the other ones involved jumping through hoops with taking CTL time or trying to ask kids to come after school. And the last one I gave them was to say that, hey, or we could add a third semester and have this mirrored to TOK. And that was one of the concerns I had was, well, if we make this a credit and a half, is this going to scare some kids away? So I went and I teach the IB English 11 class, and I had all the kids who are currently enrolled in the career-related program, I have as English students. So the next day I went to them and asked them all, like, listen, if you had to lose one of your half-credit electives junior year, would that have been a barrier for you? And all of them said no, that they were and one of the nice things about the career-related program is there's a lot more scheduling flexibility than there is with the diploma program. So they weren't all taking, no one was absolutely dying in love with every single class that they had. They would have been willing to give up one of their electives for it.
Thanks.
You have any other questions, Mike?
Just a comment. I mean, when I read the form, I didn't really have much of an idea what was involved. Now, thank you. I have much more of an idea. But Adrian, your point about wanting to see where effectively was when it was written the first time, and sort of a sense of where it's going. That arc or that transition path, I think would be really helpful to us, maybe as a community, but certainly before it goes to a board, because it's hard to get a sense of exactly what the change was going to be. It did seem involved. I got that. I saw that it was aligning with new standards effectively from IB, but get a sense of some particulars of what would be changing without writing the curriculum. Just where it's been, where do you think it's going?
Yeah, I can find I think the old curriculum was posted somewhere on the Fitch website, so I found it at some point. So I can find that and then send that to you, and then kind of a vision of what we're hoping to include in it going forward.
All right. Anne Marie?
Thanks.
I think that we would need to know that in advance. It seems to be a little bit of a change to our process here. I mean, the curriculum was approved several years ago, as Chris noted. I'm happy to, and Chris is happy to show you, we're certainly being transparent here, we're happy to show you anything that you want to see. But, we certainly were not prepared for that today, because that's not part of the process to show you, when we're doing a curriculum revision, what the curriculum was before, because it's assumed that, certainly while the board changes over, that it had been approved by the previous board. So, if that's something that you want to see, please let us know that in advance, and then, Chris or I would attach that and make sure that you have it with the documents before the meeting. But, it's kind of hard to anticipate that would be a question that you would want to know more about for today.
That's a fair point. I'll retract that part, but I will say in the form, there really just wasn't a level of detail that we usually see, and it's checked off for, I understand the reason now, as both a modification to an existing course and adding a new course, because it's going from 1 credit, I guess that'd be the junior year 1, and then a half credit for the senior year. But it just wasn't the same level of detail. I've only been on for a year and a half now, but the other new course proposals particularly have an outline like the last one did.
That's a fair point. I asked Chris to do this quickly, knowing that we had a meeting coming up, and so he did that, and I'll take responsibility for that because I did ask him to put this proposal together quickly. Thank you.
Any other questions, Mike?
No.
All right. Andrea? So I have a question as far as the intensity or like how many quality points, like when we get into the ranked grading, how many quality points? Is this going to be like with an honors class since it's kind of the career related, or would it be with, kind of more like the IBHL and AP classes? So when students are taking this, I'm guessing it's not quite as rigorous as taking, some of the really difficult AP and IB classes. Is that a fair assessment, or?
I would assume, I would not put this on the same level, academically speaking, as the skills itself are very. I guess it depends on what you philosophically consider a more difficult thing. In terms of like the sheer hours of outside the class workload, I would not expect it to be on the same level as like Calc BC or something like that. But I don't know, even within our AP and IB classes, there's a huge range. So I feel like we've gone above my pay grade real quick.
All right. Yeah, I know this is something that I think this is on a future agenda item anyway. But maybe Anne Marie, do you have anything to?
Yeah, so as Chris knows, and I know Amy's on this call as well, we recently talked with the department heads about spending some time looking, almost doing like an audit of all of the courses that have quality grading points. And so that's something that I think they're in the process of doing. This course, as a new course, would fall, or new revised, whatever we're rebranding it as, would fall under that as well. So that would be something that they have to look at very closely.
All right. So, but as it stands, if we approve it right now, we'd be approving it at the same quality points as like AP or IB calculus or chemistry.
Actually, I wouldn't approve it with any quality points. I'd say that would have to be part of that review process. So it'd almost be to be determined.
All right. Speaking for myself, since I don't really know what the existing class was, it's hard for me to take this and understand, get a view or a solid impression of what the class is going to be. But we've kind of talked about that already. This is a really brief outline, I guess. So, like, I would typically, prefer to have a little bit more understanding, in the paperwork that we're given ahead of time. So is there any other discussion?
Does that form have a spot where it asks for an outline of the? Because I don't remember seeing that, but.
It does not.
Because I would have, if there had been a spot on the form that requested an outline or details about the course, I would have put them on there.
All right, I don't understand. So why, if we were just to go back to the other one, why is the form different?
I'm not sure, but I will tell you that was the form that was approved by this board at the last, that, as you know, because we looked at the curriculum handbook. That's the form as printed from the curriculum handbook that was approved last in 2019. So that's one of the documents that I would like to improve upon when we move forward with the revisions to that handbook. But that's the one that, as of right now, Chris has to use because that's the document that was approved.
Oh, yeah.
We went ahead and included some supplemental information, which was nice, but that is the existing form.
Yeah, all right, I got you. I see that the last proposed units covered in the course are, and that's not in this. That's the difference. I think we're going to be looking at that anyway, so maybe that's something we can talk about. If there's no more discussion, does anyone want to make a motion for the committee to approve this course and send it to the board?
I don't even know what I'm approving.
Yeah. Mike, what are your thoughts?
In a regular meeting recently, if you make the motion, do you have to vote for it? Because I'm planning on abstaining, I guess. So I don't want to violate Robert's Rules of Order. I wasn't familiar with that one. I'm just abstaining if we do get a motion. But I'm not going to make it because I'm not voting in the affirmative. But I don't know if that's a real rule. That's just brought up in the last couple of meetings, I think.
So, Anne Marie, you have your hands up.
Yeah, I completely understand some of the concerns here. I do want to note, as a result of the curriculum process as it exists here in Groton, if one of the reasons why I wanted Chris to come forward in this meeting today is if you decide to not move this forward to the full board, based on some of your concerns, and I do believe that Chris can sharpen up this proposal, but if you decide not to move this forward to the full board, before he has the opportunity to do that, this course will not be able to be offered next year. And that is going to impact the career-related program. So I just want you to consider that before you make a motion to move this forward or before you vote, whatever the next step of that process is, that the impact of that decision will impact students in this program. So I just kind of want you to think about those implications, if you will.
Yeah. Mike?
I would see the one path would be not to vote on it tonight and to, not postpone it time definite, but continue it at another meeting.
We do have a meeting on October 22nd, and I do believe that, Chris would have an opportunity to make any revisions that are necessary.
Yeah.
I might not make that meeting just in advance notice because of a certain schedule, but we'll find out.
We, Mike, so we haven't, we just have kind of a tentative date on that one, so maybe we can all talk, and so it's not a fixed date on that, the one that's in 2 weeks or so. So maybe we can all talk and try to figure out a time that a meeting works. And then, but since we do have another meeting, I think that just having a little bit more clarity, based on some of the questions here, if we could have a little bit more clarity and maybe have kind of a little bit of a rundown of the course outline or something like that, I think we could still get it done in time for the end of the month, assuming that we can get it on the full board agenda at the end of the month.
And I think you'd have a hard time getting through the board with this level of detail. That's what I'm really concerned about.
Well, I don't understand. Why doesn't the form ask for any of this information in the course proposal? Like, if this is the kind of information that is needed, it should be on the form. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I can't speak to that, but just in terms of getting involved, I mean, I do understand the need to rejuvenate and sort of expand the IB curriculum in terms of new standards and the career pathways. I see the value in that, but I think I envision it getting hung up at this level of detail. I envision it getting hung up at the full board.
Andrea, did you?
Fair points all around. Fair point by Chris, fair point by Mike.
No, I guess I have to bear responsibility for not knowing what the curriculum was. All I know is that we want to expand it, but I don't even know what it is. And I'll take that responsibility. Did I hear the date of the next is October 23rd?
Or it's right around do you remember the date, Anne Marie? I don't have it in front of me.
It's the 20. A long time ago we talked about the 22nd as a possibility.
Oh, okay. The 23rd.
All right.
Okay.
But yeah, we can we can talk as a committee. I'll reach out and to everybody and see, when we can do that meeting, and hopefully this could be pretty quick on that meeting. This topic.
So, let me just clarify. What I'm hearing is that IB changed whatever their requirements are, and that would be changed in here as well, correct? But we don't have that. Okay. My misunderstanding. I couldn't.
As part of, maybe, Chris, can you answer that better? Did you hear the question?
Yeah, so we have the curriculum that we have on hand for the personal and professional skills class is in line with the previous version of IB personal and professional skills. IB, throughout every 7-ish years, they update their courses and their curriculum to reflect changes, feedback, etc. So personal and professional skills underwent a course revision at the IB level a year or two ago. So we would need to bring our course in alignment, our curriculum in alignment with their changes, and then we would also like to expand it to incorporate the other aspects of the IB career-related program that we have not been doing with Fidelity.
So we don't know what their changes are because we don't have them, correct?
I'm more than happy to supply them, but they were not asked for before today.
Well, we didn't know that they changed. I didn't anyway. Did you?
No.
Well, how could we ask for the changes if we didn't know they existed?
Well, it does say that it was updated in 2025, but yeah, we don't. I understand your frustration, Chris, that you just gave us a course proposal. It was just hard with this amount of information to actually understand what the course was and what we're changing it to. So maybe if we can get some background so we can read about it a little bit more. And yeah, it's probably, I think we can still make the schedule of getting it to the board for the end of the month, but it probably is better to have more discussion about this in this meeting and hopefully keep the board meeting shorter, so we can just have answers to this and have a little bit of a clear path. And then if I could ask, even though it's not on there, if we can get kind of a little bit of a course outline or something to understand a little bit more about the course, that would be appreciated from my end, even though it's not on the approved sheet right now.
Yep, I can do that.
And Chris, I'm sure, will be willing to, of course, to link the previous course that was approved as well.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm sure that's, I have a hard time finding stuff in the curriculum section of the website, but yeah, that'd be great if you can send that. All right. Any more discussion? So we will just continue discussion on this at the next meeting. And any other, so next item is future meeting topics. Any additions or changes to meeting topics? Mike?
I was wondering if the curriculum roadmap or curriculum approval plan was going to come back around soon, because it seemed like definitely a step in the right direction. We had some comments, and I'd personally like to see some, modifications to the current process.
So, can you tell me specifically what you like? Are you talking about the handbook specifically that's going forward to the policy committee, or?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it's with policy.
It's with policy, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
Right now, the policy committee meeting that is coming up, I think it's supposed to go to policy, but the October policy meeting was, I guess, canceled because the committee of the whole meeting got moved to that Tuesday due to the Indigenous people. That would have been the Monday of Indigenous Peoples Day. With that being Monday, it was moved to the Tuesday, which was the policy meeting. Hopefully you just followed that.
Yeah, I did actually. Thank you. I just want to make sure that was still moving forward. That's good.
Yeah, I think after when we discussed that, I sent that referral over to policy. But if only we knew somebody that was on policy. No. But I know that they've got their hands full with a lot of things, so they couldn't get it on last month. So hopefully they can get it on this month's agenda.
Sure.
And then my other one was the, forget which subject it was, but it's an IB-SL class, maybe in math. I was wondering if that's going to come back around again, like in the coming months.
IB-SL Math.
I'm not sure what you're referring to, Mike. Can you speak a little bit more in depth about that so I can remember the context?
Yeah, it was several months ago. We IB course, a standard level course. I can't remember if it's math or English or science. I just can't remember right now. But it came through, and it didn't go forward. So I just had it on my checklist as like trying to see where we're going forward with that. Maybe it's waiting for another discussion. Actually, I don't know. So in terms of future topics, course that we didn't. Move forward, would that come around again, or is that just not happening anytime soon?
Yeah, that was an English class, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and it was almost a year ago when that came through, or maybe it was like early winter or something, like late fall or early winter. Do you remember that, Anne Marie? So I don't remember the name of that class, but I believe it was in the English department. Is that what you're referring to, Mike?
I do remember an English course going
Yes.
forward and it not being not being moved forward, not being approved, and I have not followed up on that because, to be honest with you, we've had so many other things going on, but I can move back around.
All right, so it's not on the agenda for right now, and we'll just wait for the administration to bring it up again if they want to run the class. So, all right, any other discussion? All right, Andrea?
Nothing. Oh, motion to adjourn.
All right. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you for coming out.